think by now we're all aware of how many times The Simpsons have made an episode where the events of said episode came true. Super Bowl wins, Ocean Gate submersible, Higgs boson particle, the Trump presidency. Now, how much of this can we actually credit to the writers? Are they time travelers, or is it just coincidence? Coincidence is defined by Merriam-Webster as the occurrence of events that happened at the same time by accident but seem to have some connection. But let me ask you this. Is there truly such a thing as accidental occurrence of events? If time is linear, if everything that ever happens at any time ever follows the linear path of time, then how accidental are accidents? I'm sure you've heard all kinds of versions of the explanation of our universe. Some kind of divine force that knows all and sees all and created all that ever was and ever will be. God, if you subscribe to that. Or if you classify God as a programmer and we're living in the computer simulation. Or if you're a solipsist where you yourself are the creator of reality and nothing is real until it's observed by the individual perspective, you. But let's not get sidetracked by existentialism. That's not this kind of video. Today we're going to talk about Stray and how it's actively predicted the downfall of humanity. Science fiction has always had a hand in artificial cities, domes, and other forms of architecture for the future. Capsule Corp and Dragon Ball Z make space matter defying capsules that hold large structures in a small tiny capsule for mobility. Scott City, the dome city in Antarctica used in Mobile Suit Gundam Origin as a neutral zone. Star Trek Beyond has an entire planet-sized dome space station. The walled city 99 inside the game Stray is inspired by Kowloon Walled City in China. Originally a walled military fort, it became an extremely densely populated lawless enclave by the end of World War II until the 1990s. The city spanned across 6.4 acres, but it had a population density of 3.5 million residents per square mile. For us dumb Americans, imagine squeezing 35,000 people into 5 football fields. There was no room horizontally, so they began building vertically, living literally on top of each other. Kowloon Walled City was eventually demolished and replaced with a park in 1994. There are tons of YouTube and documentary videos about the Kowloon Walled City if you're interested in a deeper dive on that. But let me pull you back to the here and now, missile silos. The city in Stray is a massive walled city built and dug out of the earth to cut humanity off from the outside world. The land has been polluted and inhospitable, forcing humans into man-made structures. We assume the walled city 99 is one of many across the planet. No moon, no stars, just a few rings of lights in the sky. By the end of the game, we see it has a retractable roof, which opens up and finally exposes the now robot residents to the mythological blue sky. That look and sounds just like a missile silo. Buying up abandoned missile silos and renovating them for a livable space has become seemingly popular in recent times for those who can afford it, i.e. the rich. One account of such an example is GT Hill, who purchased an abandoned missile silo in 2010 for $90,000 and spent almost $1 million in a decade renovating it into an Airbnb. GT Hill said his interest in the silo Titan II was only really about 20% doomsday prep. So is it really crazy to liken that of Stray's Walled City 99 to that of the ultimate doomsday prep? I think not. Now stay with me. Yes, Lab-grown plants have been around for a long time. Rapid production of genetically identical plants using tissue cultures isn't new, and Stray didn't make it revolutionary. And we're not talking about massive hydroponics either, where plants don't even need dirt, and people grow lettuce out of PVC pipes. What Stray did was predict plants that can actually grow in complete darkness. Within the walled city, plants are altered and created by scientists of old to be able to continue to grow in the artificial light and even complete darkness of the closed roof. And I present to you this, a June 2022 scientific article published in Nature Food titled, "A Hybrid Inorganic Biological Artificial Photosynthesis System for Energy-Efficient Food Production." In a nutshell, scientists have figured out a way to grow plants in complete darkness by using a two-part chemical system that converts carbon dioxide, electricity, and water into acetate, and then the plants consume acetate in replacement of photosynthesis to grow. This is particularly strong evidence, as Stray was announced in 2020 and game development began as far back as 2015. The actual public release of this game came only a month after the release of this scientific paper, and the paper was actually completed and submitted for review in January of 2022, whereas Stray was released in July of 2022. This was something thought on very early in the writing development of the game in order to create a world that made sense. An offhanded comment by one of the NPC robots in the game, but a conscious choice by the writing team. Of course, anybody playing the game would scrutinize, well, why are there plants in the environment if they're completely shut out of the outside world and no sunlight comes in? Because, well, I'm literally that kind of person when watching science fiction. I do that all the time. But, of course, they would have an answer to that question in the form of scientific plant modification, because Stray knew this would happen. A happy little accident that this game and the research paper came out within a month of each other? Once again, I think not. Mine uploading has been a concept for a very long time. Once again, many forms of science fiction touch on this as well. 2011's Ready Player One, where VR gives people a semblance of escapism amidst the reality of a bleak and collapsing world. The movie Transcendence, where Johnny Depp sucks his consciousness into a computer and creates a utopia. Computer simulation, I'm looking back at you again. Even Marvel touched on this idea with Captain America's Nazi enemy Arnim Zola, who copied Hitler's own brain and put it into a clone named the Hate Monger in Fantastic Four 21 in 1963. And later then transferred his own mind into a robot. All that to say, it's once again not a new concept, but let me point you to Neuralink. Neuralink is a neurotechnology company founded and created by Elon Musk. And while I reference Neuralink for this video, the Collecti-Bros are in no way, shape, or form Musk enjoyers. He sucks booty balls, plain and simple. Anyways, Neuralink, as of 2024, has successfully, air quotes, implanted a Neuralink device into a human. The overall intention for these brain-computer interface implants is to treat brain disease in the short term with a long-term goal of human enhancement. Musk is quoted in Business Insider to ultimately move towards the goal of human-AI symbiosis, as AI left unchecked will be the downfall of humanity. See the cybernetic revolt by the Men of Iron in the 23rd millennium, Warhammer 40k. He views it as a video game where you can put your consciousness into a save state and then upload in various states. So now let's look at B12, your drone companion in Stray. Through a series of signs, some entity is directing you to move some batteries around in a room to ultimately jumpstart the upload of a robot into a drone body, as his normal robot body is damaged beyond repair. Through the game, B12 comes to the realization that he was not the robot created by a scientist, he is the scientist, who chose to forego his human body and upload his consciousness into the system, and thus the robot. In the end, he has no way of storing his consciousness again and instead chooses to sacrifice himself to open the retractable roof and finally let the light of day down into the city. Upon inspection of the secret room we find, we can surmise that B12's human body has been sealed inside of this pod, and the robotic body next to it was not the companion, but the intention for his original body replacement. The upload worked, but not in full, and many of his memories were corrupted, which we rediscover through the game. This concept of human consciousness uploading, save states, and human AI enhancement is where the downfall of humanity was cemented in Stray. Humanity's culture is lost, and as shown as an example of B12, the transference is flawed at best. Neuralink has received heavy criticism and scrutiny over its implant trials on primates and monkeys, with many of them requiring euthanasia over medical complications of the trial. Even so, Musk has pushed beyond into human trials amidst the questionable ethical norms and behaviors. With the development of Stray beginning in 2015 and the establishment of Neuralink in 2016, Steven Lerner's story through Stray could have been a warning of mind uploading and transference that Elon Musk chose to ignore by 2024. Anyways, Stray was a really good game and terrifying at times. I had an incredible time playing this game and would recommend it 100% to anybody interested. Or maybe you're interested in finding your own examples of the downfall of humanity written inside of this game as well. I enjoyed this so much, I even sat for another 2 hours to complete the speedrun trophy and gain the platinum from my PlayStation card. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out the channel for more content from the greatest podcast of all time to ever grace the internet, Collecti-Bros Pod. Thanks for watching, stay oppressed, gamers, break the glass ceiling, yada yada, greatest podcast of all time, Soft Judas. Thanks, see ya!